I was growing up, homelessness was just one step away always. It was a struggle with my mom. She went from abusive relationship to abusive relationship, and we would pack up in the middle of the night and leave for another adventure, only for the same thing to happen. My mom would pull me out of school, and I definitely couldn't keep any friends. That was really hard. So we stayed a lot of times in our car. We would pack up blankets, and we would stay there for a couple days sometimes until Mom figured out where she wanted to go or what our plan was. I had a lot of hatred towards my mother for the things and the situations we were in. I dropped out of high school first when I was 16 years old. At that point, I left home, but I had a major addiction problem, and I couldn't stay off of drugs or alcohol, and I bounced from place to place, park bench to park bench. Sometimes I even slept under a bridge. Eventually, I had nowhere to go. I had nothing left. I felt completely isolated against the world, like everyone was against me, and there was nowhere I could turn. When I would lay on park benches or even under the bridge was the hardest part for me with all of the rest of the homeless people. I would always wonder if this was my last night on earth. Are people going to be able to find me? Would my family even care if I was dead? Is tonight my last night completely? Like, am I ever gonna get out of this? Am I ever gonna live again? And at that point, I didn't want to. At that time, I had fallen in with a pretty bad crowd. They engaged in a lot of dangerous and illegal activities. Eventually, I landed myself 2 felonies, and I sat over a year in jail. I was there for Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's Eve, my first son's birthday, and no one was there for me. No one wrote me. No one visited, nothing. I literally had nobody. And at that point, I didn't even want to get out of jail because I didn't have anywhere to go. After I left jail, I had a major drug problem still. I had been using almost every drug there was out there. It was in my system. I was not going to stay alive and continue the lifestyle I was doing. I had to go to treatment, and I had to change my life. I found out that I was pregnant with my son Bentley the day that I stepped foot into treatment. And that was really my turning point, when I wanted to go to treatment, when I wanted the help, when I no longer could do it anymore. Being in treatment, knowing that I was pregnant, was extremely hard. I had looked into all of my options: abortion, adoption, open and closed, everything. I had finally decided that I was going to put him up for adoption, that I had so much going on myself and that I didn't have any feet to stand on, that I couldn't provide for him. And to think that my life now without Bentley, I wouldn't even be here without him. Like, he completely saved me. He's the entire reason that I continue to stay sober on a daily basis, because if I don't stay sober, the pattern of abuse or the pattern of homelessness is always going to be there in his life. When I first moved here, since I had food experience, I applied for a general manager position at a Subway here in town, and I got it. Things were going really well. And I came down with some severe stomach problems and asthma problems. Because of my medical issues, I lost my job. I wasn't able to work for almost 8 months to try to get this all under control. And slowly but surely, I had started losing everything. My bills were stacking up, and I didn't have any more money saved up to help us. I had my assistance through the county, but that doesn't cover your rent, much less any of your other bills. When I got an eviction notice, the notice stated that I needed to be out that afternoon. I cried and cried and cried because I had to tell Bentley that night that we were going to sleep in our car. As a mom, you're supposed to provide. To see my son sleeping in the car would have broke my heart. At the last minute though, I was given Transitional Housing's number. And Transitional Housing saved us. We were able to stay in our house that day. It gave me time, the time that I needed in order to get my medical issues under wrap in order to get back to work. And I was even able to go back to school. The Transitional Housing program has offered me so many tools in my life. I have a case manager that helps me, someone that I set goals with, and if I don't reach my goals, I have someone to answer to. When I tuck Bentley in at night, I no longer worry about him having a roof over his head. I no longer worry about him being safe or traveling down the same dark path. If it weren't for Transitional Housing, I wouldn't have been able to keep the stable home that I have. Transitional Housing helped me keep my sobriety. It helped me keep my sanity, my stability. I don't even know where I would be without Transitional Housing. You don't have to stay in the routine of what your parents did or what their parents did. You can end the cycle of homelessness or domestic abuse or drug abuse, anything. Anything that you put your mind to, you can make it through it. The cycles of homelessness and abuse in my family have ceased. With the donors, my life completely changed. I want to thank you. Your support is crucial. I wouldn't be where I'm at today without any of you.